Hey, everybody. Good morning. This is Thursday. Happy Thursday. You're almost there. Some of you guys are out there on Facebook talking about how much pain you're in, and I feel bad for you because there's a way out. I mean, and you're not even on the protocol. So, you know, eh, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for your loved ones that have to watch you go through this. I feel bad for your kids that have to watch you go through this. But there's nothing that I can do because these are people on my Facebook that know about me. They've met me, and yet they still need to go through that torture and whatever. So I'm not going to get too perplexed over it. Because some people are too far gone. So, it is what it is. Yeah, today I feel great. I really do. I mean, I'm chill. I'm not like, oh, I'm so happy or oh, I'm so sad. I'm just like in a very even keel, pretty much impervious to whatever. I have now all the time in the world to do and follow whatever it is I choose to, because I don't feel the need to do activism. I don't feel the need to spend my time, uh, I don't know, doing stuff that people usually do when they have nothing else going on except for their sickness. I don't feel the need to pass around memes that talk about all these holistic remedies that some of these people who left my protocol is still doing. I mean, you got to realize that doesn't it get tiresome to pass around memes that talk about turmeric and talk about, I don't know, apple cider vinegar and talk about garlic? I mean, I know it gets tiresome. You got to know that that stuff is so poisonous, but yet you're still doing it. So it's like, okay, so I don't even get triggered off of that. Now, I will delete people and I will unfollow them, especially if I know that they've been on my protocol and they are in my group and yet they've gone back to the dark side. Yes, I will do that. And when I do, see it through my news feed and I see what they're doing, then I'm just like, okay, there's no reason for us to be friends. The reason why we're friends is because, we had the protocol in common and they were going to make their life better and, help humanity. And when you help humanity, it's because you're sharing information about how the protocol is doing for you. So that's why I post testimonies, so people know what people are going through. That's a good thing. And some people will post stuff that, yeah, it's not necessarily, lovely to see, but the person also knows it's part of the process. You got to go through pain to get to the other side. But that's how, I'll post those if I know the person is positioning that information correctly. It's not just straight up fear. So it's interesting to see who's been on my protocol and who fell off and who's shining me on and says a bunch of stuff, and people who are watching me who I know fell off, and it is what it is. They will deal with that, on their own. So, I was going through my newsfeed and saw under Occupy the FDA. There's this new drug that is inhibiting the ARCAN gene to transform, to help transform white fat into brown fat, which then it burns it off. Which means that what they're saying is that you could eat whatever you want. You could eat McDonald's, you could eat whatever, and you'll never get fat. But if only being obese was like the only thing. No, obesity is like the idiot lights on your dashboard. It lets you know that, hey, you're doing something wrong. There's a mutation, and this is, the manifestation of that mutation. And there's other stuff going on too. Because if one gene gets mutated, there's going to be others. That's going to have a domino effect. It's not like the fat gene or the ARCAN gene is the only thing in your body that says that, that it'll get mutated only if you eat fat. So when you start, when you start gaining weight, then that's going to be the reason why you die. I mean, yeah, that's one factor. But and yes, when somebody is completely obese, it's very hard for them to get around. That is true too. But there's going to be other issues that are going to happen. Because imagine somebody eating so much crap, right? And they gain a bunch of weight, and then they're so morbidly obese that they have to stop. Like at some point, some people who start getting fat, they start feeling bad about themselves. They start making superficial changes. They start going, wow, I'm not getting a boyfriend, or wow, I'm not, having the life that I want. And I need to make some changes so that way I don't completely die from a heart attack, right? Oh no, when you have a drug like this where it doesn't allow you to get fat, but you can eat whatever you want, I could see people falling out, like dying left and right, and not even know, and they won't even make any changes because they have no reason to. See, that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy with what they're doing with all the hormones and the genes. Okay. Interesting. I wonder why I can't. I'm looking to see. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'm just gonna. There's a delay. Okay. So it's like turning off the idiot lights on your dashboard when they are messing with your genetics, messing with like turning it off, the oil pressure light. If your oil it gets so low, turning off your gas light. When your gas tells you it's getting low, you need to put more gas in your car. I mean, and people who take these type of drugs where they can eat whatever they want and never get fat, they're going to probably, also do plastic surgery. So they're going to deceive anyone that they date. It's like, oh yeah, I eat healthy, or I'm a healthy person, or I have really good genetics, and then they date this person, and then most likely probably be very fertile too. But their lifespan's going to be short. Their lifespan is going to be short. I'm just thinking of just the domino effect when you take away obesity as a side effect of eating whatever you want. And I mean, you guys know, I mean, you've seen the McDonald's dude that ate a bunch of McDonald's, and he started getting like his liver starting to shut down. He was gaining weight. I mean, it was pretty bad. So this is going to be interesting to see who is on this drug or who gets this drug. So I don't know that it's whatever. All right. So I think there's a delay on this because I only see one person, two people. And I'm sure there's a lot more. I'm gonna do hello, hello, hello. All right. Well, whatever. Okay. So let's see. The whole thing with alcohol. So I was watching this one of people that I was helping about a year ago. They kept private messaging me and said, "Hey, I mean, I did answer a few questions through private message. They bought my services in time, and they spent an hour with me, and then I stopped doing personal consultations, and now they have access to the group, give them access to the group. They need to get my book, right? And then I see them fall off the protocol. I see them like completely fall off because I'm not going to baby them through this protocol, right? Oh, hello, Tina. Okay. And so so now I'm seeing them pass around these articles about vodka being a good alcohol to drink. because it has some kind of benefits, no different than apple cider vinegar when you look at the common component. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the what he's passing around, the benefits of vodka, right? And this is where I just like, oh my God, this is where society has gone off the deep end. Okay, so these are the health benefits of vodka. Includes better cardiovascular health, reduction in the stress quotient, relief from the toothaches and bad breath. It's an astringent. Well, the whole thing with better cardiovascular health is because it thins your blood. So if you're a hemophiliac, you better not be drinking alcohol or vodka because you would bleed out and die. All right. So this is where people's brains are so skewed because they are so dead set on not actually going through the process of healing. They don't want to take the time to read my information. They don't want to take the time to go through the healing process. They want it easy. And they will find every which way to substantiate all of their habits. And alcohol is probably the worst habit ever. And I went through my alcoholic phase. I was drinking tequila, drinking Sex on the Beach, drinking all those little umbrella drinks. Oh, I've been drunk. I think the worst drunk I've ever been was a couple years ago at a party where I was just projectile throwing up. And it was in front of everybody. And to this day, people call me, hey, corn or something, because I had a bunch of undigested food that I didn't even chew. It was right there on the grass because it was a barbecue. And from that point forward, from that barbecue, I have not touched alcohol like that. Actually, I haven't. Did I? Well, I think a little bit, but not. I think I did not get that drunk. And then I finally stopped drinking alcohol, I think the first January of me being on the protocol. So I started the protocol in October 2016, and it was August 2016 that I got super drunk. And then I created the protocol. I think I drank a few drinks on January, which induced that the psychological catharsis. And then from that point forward, I stopped drinking alcohol. It was done because I had the healing symptoms of yeast infections, which I didn't want to deal with anymore. And so that was what stopped me from drinking alcohol from that point forward. So I've had my bouts with alcohol, but I've never, ever had a problem where it got in the way of my life. I just would be a social drinker and want to just keep that feeling going and then forget that I didn't eat that much, or I'm mixing my alcohol and then everything just, is bad, all bad. And then one time we were in Cleveland a couple of years ago where we didn't even know how we got home, like all of us. So I've done my horrible, horrible drinking and never again. And then I'm watching like people around me who have alcohol problems, deal with the ramifications. And it's so bad, but it's so all over the place. It's so part of our social culture. So anyway, so this person, was passing around this article that vodka has these benefits. And the reason why it has these specific benefits, because it's a distilled and it doesn't have carbs and it doesn't have like the sugar or whatever. But the better cardiovascular health that they're talking about is because it's a blood thinner. So someone that clots a lot, or has a bad heart problems, and they need to have blood thinners, and that's why some drugs are out there that do that. Well, that's why they would do it. But if you're a hemophiliac and you already have thin blood anyways, then this obviously wouldn't work for you. Reduction in stress quotient. Oh, yeah. When you anesthetize yourself, no different than cannabis. Yeah, when you drink a shot of alcohol or whatever it is after work every single day, or when you smoke a bunch of pot every single day because you need to, relax, that's just covering up your anxiety. It doesn't do anything else but cover up all of your symptoms. Relief from toothaches. It's no different than taking aspirin. It's an anesthetizing type of agent. And then also bad breath. I mean, it's an astringent, right? So, and I've heard people say, oh, I use vodka on my body because it helps keeping the skin healthy. Do you know what it is? Do you know what vodka is? And this ought to blow your mind because people don't even look at what the ingredients of vodka. Vodka is basically water and ethanol. Ethanol is alcohol. It's acetic acid, that's what's in vinegar. Ethanol has some major issues with it. Let's see what are the dangers of ethanol. It's dangerous because it is highly flammable liquid that can be poisonous with skin contact or ingestion in its pure form. Ethanol is also the ingredient in alcoholic beverages, and consumption of it can lead to liver disease, heart problems, and alcoholism. And then people are taking this as a remedy. People are washing their hair and their skin with this stuff. It's like taking gasoline from the gasoline pump because it's an astringent, it's antibiotic. It's like, where's the common sense? Oh, wait, there isn't any, because people are still trying to justify their bad behavior. So, and then the apple cider vinegar crowd. Well, and I have that in my book, okay, about vinegar. Okay, I talk about acetic acid in vinegar, whether it's apple cider vinegar, whether it's balsamic vinegar, whether it's distilled vinegar, whether it's any kind of vinegar. It is fermented ethanol. Okay, so those of you who are apple cider vinegar people, you are basically poisoning your body. You really are. Heart disease, liver disease, I mean, so then let's look at this thing about the truth about alcohol. What does alcohol do to your body? Now, I'm going to read this to you, but I'm going to also talk about my protocol with this, because this is what the protocol, well, I'll tell you, I'll read this and I'll kind of give you my little explanation. So when someone starts out drinking, he or she feels relaxed, confident, happy, and sociable. The pleasurable effects of alcohol are undeniable. Oh yeah, I've had fun with it. It makes it easy to forget about the negative effects. It slowed your reflexes. It reduced coordination and warped thinking, poor judgment, impaired memory, impaired motor functions, and plenty more impairments. So you're seeing that it slows down everything. It alters your body, mind, and spirit, obviously, or your body, mind, and spirit. So these negative effects occur every single time one drinks, even a single beer. The more one drinks, the stronger these negative effects. Those pleasurable effects will begin to fade quickly. Over time, the body becomes damaged from drinking, more damage than you probably know. In fact, alcohol can cause several types of cancer. So those of you who are dealing with cancer and you're still drinking alcohol, and those of you who are dying from certain things and you're taking a tablespoon or a teaspoon of alcohol right before you're dying, because I've seen it where someone's like, hey, they're a diehard alcoholic, right? And they're dying, they're on their deathbed, and their friends are giving them alcohol on his way out so we can have that feeling of whatever before he leaves. I mean, that's how insane the alcohol is, how pervasive, how insane the addiction to alcohol is. People will still do it even on their deathbed, but I guess it doesn't matter, right? They're dying, so hey, why not leave it? We leave it with the bang, right? Aside from bodily harm, alcohol use has been linked to depression, anxiety, societal withdrawal, violent behavior. Oh yeah. An increase in unprotected sex. Well, there's the death trajectory and what makes people amorous, right? And increased risk of motor vehicle accidents, suicide, injury, domestic violence, and even drowning. As if that's not enough, alcohol does unbelievable damage to the body. And it's not just the brain and the liver. Virtually every part of the body is affected negatively from excessive drinking. Even that one beer or that one shot, you are on now a path of self-destruction. Even if it isn't like looking like that guy in the middle of the gutter, you are still destroying your body. So let's discover the truth about what alcohol does to the human body. From the first sip, when alcohol is consumed, around 33% of it gets absorbed immediately into the blood through the stomach lining. Okay, so let's switch this to then jelly juice. When jelly juice gets consumed. 100% of it gets absorbed immediately into the blood and through the stomach lining. So when you're taking in nutrients from jelly juice, it gets absorbed immediately. Okay, so now you're going to get the major awesome effects of nutrition. But here with alcohol, you're getting this poison that is just being sucked up by your body. And then, oh, here we go. The remaining alcohol is absorbed more slowly into the blood through small intestines. Once in the bloodstream, alcohol diffuses into every biological tissue in the body because cell membranes are highly permeable. So when you think about jelly juice, once in the bloodstream, jelly juice diffuses into almost every biological tissue in the body because cell membranes are highly permeable. That is why no cells and no system gets discriminated with jelly juice. You know why? Because you're getting it into your body. It's going into every cell because they are highly permeable. So if jelly juice is a universal, cell regenerative type of protocol recipe, then alcohol is a universal destroyer of families and people. Okay? So when one consumes more alcohol than his or her body can handle, the person's blood alcohol levels, BAL, increases. How fast a person's BAL raises and the effects it has vary greatly depending on a number of things, including weight, age, gender, body composition, general health, and the presence of other drugs or medications. So obviously there's a lot of different factors that'll make it more exacerbated, and maybe some of you won't have a major issue because you're still young, you don't have that many issues, but hey, give it time. As you progress in your age and you're not doing anything at all to regenerate cells, you're going to end up like these people, that are aging rapidly because of their alcohol intake. Regardless, the presence of alcohol in the blood at all will have effects on the body. A higher BAL, or blood alcohol level, simply means greater risk. The recommended maximum intake of alcohol is 2 drinks per day for men and 1 drink per day for women. Consuming more than that is considered problematic drinking. 5 or more drinks per day for men, 4 for women is considered binge drinking. Having any alcohol, okay, especially like having any alcohol like this, is horrible. And even alcohol in vinegar isn't great. But if you have other elements that are countering it, then that's not a major big deal. Because I use a little bit of vinegar to season my food, but I don't do it like these people who are drinking like a whole bottle of beer. I mean, hell no. So right from the first sip, alcohol affects the body. Starting with the brain, what follows is an explanation of the effects alcohol has on various parts of the body. Hold on tight. So alcoholism is a disease characterized by inability to control alcohol use, a need to consume increasingly large amounts of alcohol, and or constant impulse to consume alcohol. If this sounds familiar, please seek professional treatment immediately. With the right help, alcoholism is a 100% curable disease, which then you have to if you're not doing jelly juice, then you have to intellectualize and you have to think every single day, do not drink alcohol or I'll end up in the gutter. I mean, that's basically what AA is. It is an external way to stop you from doing what your body biologically needs because of the biochemistry that you created from those years. And that's very hard because that's why you see a lot of people relapse. Some will have years and years and then they find other addictions like eating or running or other stuff and they still drink alcohol, but they don't drink as much because they already have another addiction already in place. Oh yeah, I mean, people don't quit the addictions, they just trade them off for other things. All right, so the brain. The amount of damage alcohol causes to the brain is incomprehensible. These little moments you don't remember from the crazy night before, that's temporary amnesia. Keep it up and you can develop Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, a memory-impairing vision and speech-affecting seizure-causing disorder. You won't be able to form new memories. You'll mumble involuntarily. Your eyes will twitch constantly. And that's not all. Oh, yeah. Drinking releases excess GABA and dopamine, 2 naturally occurring neurotransmitters. GABA is responsible for calming the brain down, and dopamine is responsible for pleasure, a part of the brain's reward system. Too much of these neurotransmitters can lead to shortness of breath, high blood pressure, increased heart rate. So high blood pressure, for those that are afraid of jelly juice, I bet you guys are probably the ones that are drinking as well, drinking alcohol. So there's your high blood pressure root cause, is your malfunctions and mutations from your lifestyle. Increased heart rate, night terrors, delusions, hallucinations, spasms, and increased levels of both aggression and depression. Drinking also releases endorphins, which are similar to neurotransmitters, except they carry natural pain-reducing chemical instead of message. Endorphins are normally released upon rewarding actions such as exercise, sexual activity, and eating. See, when you have too much endorphins that are being induced, which is right now in the allopathic and the holistic industry. Holistic is all the exercise and all the cannabis and all of the detoxes and the pills, powders, and supplements, as well as the exercise regimes. And then, of course, sexual activity, because you're on a death trajectory. And then also eating. Okay, because in the allopathic industry, they don't really put in a moratorium on some of your foods. If anything, if you have stem cells in your body, they want you to eat the crappy, nasty, processed food to keep your immune system pretty low, so you're not purging out those stem cells. Too much endorphin release can cause depression. See, when you have so much sex, when you eat so much, or you're an adrenaline junkie, you keep chasing that high. And eventually your body is not going to want to be releasing that so much of that, because it only can release so much. And then you get depressed because you don't have that high, and you keep trying to chase it until it's just, so then you have too much endorphin release can cause depression, lower sex drive, low testosterone, infertility, and extreme fatigue, among other complications. So infertility can come from having a very healthy body, right? There's that end of it, very healthy, or a very unhealthy body. It's that balance where infertility is fine, but fertility can be also from a very unhealthy body. But infertility is actually not a bad thing. But it's, again, relative to context. So liver, my oh my, how the liver takes a hit when you get drunk. Your liver is where alcohol gets metabolized. And if when you drink more than 1 drink per hour on average, let's face it, that's extremely slow, even for a casual drinker. The liver turns alcohol into something called acetaldehyde, which is toxic and can cause cancer. Anyways, let's start at the start. Click here for more information about how alcohol can ruin the liver. Oh, there's more stuff, right? Excess drinking causes the liver to accumulate fat, which can lead to fatty liver disease. A liver that has become clogged with fat cannot perform at an efficient level, which affects the rest of the body. Fatty liver disease, extremely common, can lead to inflammation of the liver, which is known as alcoholic hepatitis, more common than you think. And then people are going to get, liver transplants. Ugh, people who drink and want liver transplants, I would say no, but hey, that's me. Excessive drinking, especially with alcoholic hepatitis, can also lead to cirrhosis. Cirrhosis of the liver happens when liver cells become so damaged they cannot regenerate. Once cirrhosis, so then you know that your liver can regenerate in the right conditions. So you know that your organs can regenerate if you ever get them either taken out or cut out because of what Western medicine and Eastern medicine has done to you. So once cirrhosis has occurred, if a person does not stop drinking, they will experience liver failure, which is extremely fatal. Liver cancer is a common outcome of drinking with cirrhosis. And if you have diabetes, you shouldn't be drinking. You are really rolling the dice if you have diabetes and you're drinking. Breasts. Alcohol consumption raises the risk for breast cancer. Research suggests that even so much as 1 drink a day may increase a person's risk for breast cancer. Estrogen levels are raised when alcohol is consumed, and an increased estrogen level is a risk factor for developing breast cancer. And that's also taking birth control pills, as well as other types of hormones that were used in the allopathic and the holistic market, as well as, the processed foods that are out there. Okay. According to nonprofit website breastcancer.org, research consistently shows that drinking alcohol beverages can increase levels of estrogen and other hormones associated with hormone receptor positive breast cancer. It's only 3 drinks a week for a woman to have a 15% higher risk. If that woman is 15 years old or young, her risk is tripled. You realize this, right? Those of you who are battling a disease and you're drinking alcohol, what the heck are you doing to yourself? Stomach. Alcohol does 2 things to your stomach. One is that it makes the stomach produce more acid than usual, which can cause gastritis. And 2 is that alcohol creates irritation and inflammation in the stomach lining, which can lead to ulcers and bleeding of the stomach. If and when the stomach lining becomes torn, it can lead to anemia. Stomach pain after drinking alcohol could also be a sign of chronic cholecystitis, a condition of the gallbladder. Pancreas. Excessive alcohol use is a common cause of pancreatitis or inflammation of the pancreas, and it is a major risk factor for pancreatic cancer. So there are people that have passed away from pancreatic cancer. They were in hospice because of, yes, they had a drug problem in their youth or in their 20s and 30s, and they probably drank a bunch of alcohol. Okay? So Jilly Juice is not going to have anybody die from pancreatic cancer. Maybe their lifestyle caused them to be in hospice to die from that cancer. Heavy drinking also impairs the pancreas's ability to produce insulin, which can lead to diabetes. It's no surprise that somebody who drinks a massive amounts of alcohol starts getting diabetes. That should be a clue to those of you who are heavy drinkers, and if you haven't triggered the diabetes, but just wait, you will. Heart. Heavy drinking can be very hard on the heart. It causes cardiomyopathy, which is a stretching and drooping of the heart muscles. It causes myocarditis, which is inflammation of the heart muscle, and it also causes arrhythmia, which is irregular heartbeat. When alcohol is consumed, it raises blood pressure and blood lipids. This increases the risk of heart attacks, hypertension, raised cholesterol, and stroke. So anyone talking about Jilly Juice and the salt are who have this fear of heart attacks, hypertension, raised cholesterol, and stroke. Let's look at your background and see how many drinks per week you're drinking and doing. Let's really take it to that level. But no, these people who are attacking Jilly Juice because of their fear of the salt are probably major alcoholics. Bones. Excessive drinking can accelerate the rate of bone deterioration and increase the risk for bone fracture and osteoporosis. Calcium is necessary from strong, dense bones. When alcohol is consumed, it acts as a diuretic and flushes calcium from the bone, making them weaker and more susceptible to fracture. So those of you who are dealing with with cartilage being missing, and you're having your bone on bone and it hurts, and then you're drinking alcohol and you're having other issues that are going on, you're only compounding the issue. The central nervous system. Alcohol affects the central nervous system, causing many short-term effects like slurred speech, blurred vision, weakened muscles, decreased reaction time, and impaired memory. When alcohol is consumed excessively, it can cause cell damage in the central nervous system, creating a condition known as neuropathy. Neuropathy causes alternating feelings of weakness, brain pain, and numbness in the feet and hands. And I know people that are taking cannabis for neuropathy. But cannabis also is one of those natural killer producing antibiotic, anti-inflammatory that is also destroying the body, because too many natural killer cells causes the aging process, and it attacks the body and attacks major systems that are already damaged prior to your use of cannabis. So you're only making it worse when you're taking cannabis, because you wouldn't give a baby cannabis. But do babies suffer depression? Hey, babies are developing. When somebody is going through neuropathy, it's because their body is breaking down from their lifestyle. What would then help a person who is damaged from their lifestyle, from cell damage? Oh, you take nutrition and you regenerate cells. Oh, wow. What a novel thought. Oh no, the drug addicts who went from alcoholism to freaking cannabis, no, they'll find a way to justify it by endocannabinoids. But endocannabinoids are also in opioids as well as alcohol. Well, not alcohol, but coffee. And maybe actually endocannabinoids could be in alcohol. You never know, because it's in everything. Cabbage has endocannabinoids too. Colon. Alcohol consumption, whether excessive or long-term or both, causes what are known as adenomas in the colon. These are tiny and benign tumors and are harmless at this stage. However, adenomas can develop into polyps, which are large and can be precancerous. So in conclusion, alcohol is not friendly to the body. While your mind may find it effective or might find its effects fun, your body does not. Hangovers are still not completely understood by science, which cannot be good. Well, I know what hangovers are? It's a body trying to freaking heal. Okay, when you have a hangover, you have a headache, your body feels like it's hit by a truck, your body is now in the healing process because you went and destroyed it for one night. That's what a hangover is. Now, some people who don't get major hangovers from, let's say champagne, is the fact that the body is so used to, or, the impurities are not, as bad, but there's still a feeling of lethargy and all that stuff. But when people are major alcoholics, the body's in that homeostasis. They've gotten used to the alcohol. They've gotten used to the binge drinking. So it's finding it as a normal thing. And so when people do get hangovers, I think it's because their body isn't exactly, used to it. And so the body's trying to repair. Then I guess at some point, the body's like, hey, okay, you want to destroy me? Well, fine, I'll destroy you too. So blackouts are extremely common and are usually bouts of amnesia. Alcohol poisoning is rampant, and more than 10 types of cancer can be caused by excessive drinking. So there you go. There you go. Let me see. Yeah. So I'm glad to see you guys all joining here. And the government really tried to really stop this way back in the 1900s under Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson was probably one of the last greatest presidents when you think about it, because that whole Volstead Act was enacted under his administration. He was snowed into making the Federal Reserve happen or something. I think 1913 or something was when the Federal Reserve was put into place. But he didn't know any better. But Woodrow Wilson really had the right mentality. Every president thereafter lost in alcohol. So it's no wonder our country, we're doing great, yes, because we have advanced technology, but we still have very mutated legislation. I mean, look at George Bush Jr., total alcoholic. Yeah, maybe he quit it, but it doesn't surprise me that, his term, his time that he was in office, it was maybe great in the beginning and then ended up to be a total messed up cluster, whatever. So, and then his dad passing away. Well, it shows you that these presidents are not like as strong or as powerful as you think. They're all addicted to the drugs, the alcohol, the cannabis, though they probably won't say it because it's still, it's still a stigma. But yeah, they're all part of the whole, the biotech, anesthetizing themselves because they don't want to look at how the actual human body works. And so, you're gonna look at Trump. Even Trump is getting older. Yes, his daughter is beautiful, but watch, she's gonna age and look like her mom down the road. Her mom is somewhat pretty, but they're rapidly aging and decaying inside. So, you really got to understand that Jilly juice is about nutrition. It is not about anesthetizing your body. And alcohol, which is ever pervasive in our society, is completely the antithesis. And so the goal for anyone that's on Jilly juice really should be eradicating alcohol at some point. It may not happen right away. And you're going to be in a battle if you are addicted to alcohol, even if it's just 1 or 2 drinks a day, which is actually a lot. 1 drink a day for me would be, well, not even for me, I think for anybody, is a sign of a problem. When you have to drink alcohol every single day, even if it's just 1 drink, is a sign of an issue. Even on the weekends, having alcohol every single weekend is a sign of an issue. What are you covering up? What are you running away from? Why do you have to feel like you have to drink something to calm your nerves down? Because there's something else going on. People who are adrenaline junkies and pleasure-seeking junkies, whatever it is, they are suffering. But they'll never tell you they're suffering because they found a good way to hide it. And drinking is a very socially acceptable. Smoking pot is socially acceptable. It's no different than the 1960s where you had like the mainstreamers, the conservative, then you have like the alternative mainstream, which is all the hippies smoking their pot, right? Oh yeah, I'm a rebellious person. Well, we'll make rebellion be trendy. That's exactly what cannabis is and all of these alternative types of protocols that are not in biotech. So when someone says, oh, the pharmacy is so horrible, so is a freaking health store. Where's the memes about the health store being a pharmacy too? Oh no, because the holistic industry is like the new trendy biotech, the new trendy pharmacy. So that's why I don't partake in the whole alchemy, because what Jilly Juice is not alchemy. We're not transforming someone from dead to alive or alive to dead. We're just trying to maintain life. That's all we're doing with the right elements. But we have too many new agers and too many people wanting to how would I say, impose their brainwashing onto Jilly Juice, trying to fit me into their world so then we can collaborate. There is no collaboration with Jilly Juice. There's a transition from your world into mine, but there is no collaboration with Jilly Juice and the alchemy industry, which is a holistic and the allopathic. So, I'm not surprised that I'm not getting any more interview requests from the holistic industry because they don't want me on their show. So, and I don't want to be on their show because if that's what they're trying to promote and they won't at all give up, that's why it's very hard for people to, that are still stuck in the industry to really just drop everything and go my direction, because that would mean that you have to be one of the Jilly Juicers, right? The ones that kiss Jillian's ass. No, nobody kisses my ass. They just see the results of the Jilly Juice and they're like, okay, I'm over the holistic allopathic industry. I'm over it. Spending too much money and then, not seeing the results and then also looking at the death and destruction behind them. So you buy yourself a 5 or 10 years, you're still dying, you're still dead. So when I see people that promote these books that talk about longevity, nutrition, this doctor that has this book about, recipes about longevity and nutrition, and I'm like, look at the person and look at the doctor, the author, and he's like aging. And I'm putting on this person's wall, hey, have you ever asked about immortality? What do you think he thinks about immortality? Because this guy is aging. And no, I don't get any response because nobody can really even wrap their mind around cellular regeneration to the point of where they're not aging. No, it's all about buying time on this earth. Oh, we go from one extreme to the other, right? You go from, well, not to the other, but you go from one extreme of eating a really crappy diet, and then you make these major changes to like a vegan. But look at all the vegans and vegetarians; they're aging rapidly, and they're all into tantric sex. Oh my God! It seems like they go hand in hand. These vegans and vegetarians and herbalists are also like, oh, it's about tantric sex and kundalini yoga and all, and it's just like, oh my gosh. It makes me roll my eyes, but what can you say? We've been so programmed in our society from the porn industry and from all these different industries that people just think that reproduction, reproducing and all that, and procreation and sex is like a healthy thing, when really it actually comes from an unhealthy body. When somebody's aging, like Dr. Ruth, who is very good as a sex therapist, it should kind of click, but it doesn't, because we're so accepting that death is okay, that the aging process is okay, aging gracefully. And it's all over the television, it's all over the books, all over media, it's all over in your families. And then when I say, hey, why do we have to die? It's like, oh my God, you totally like, are speaking blasphemy. But no, we're now understanding cellular regeneration. But alcohol isn't everything. Alcohol is, yeah, the holidays, I know, Krista, but I don't need to drink alcohol. I'll go make some really cool food. That's my contribution to the holidays, is I will make some really yummy, healthy food. So while they're all getting drunk, because you know what's going to happen, I'm going to be eating the food. I'll be the designated driver, because I'm not staying the night at anybody's house after a night of binging. I'm going to go home to my dog or stay here or whatever. And that's what I'm going to do. But, for me, having fun is maintaining my health 100%. So I'm always thinking and strategizing and developing and creating and progressing and maintaining, without feeling like I have to go and like escape my world. Because my world is great. There's no reason to escape it. It's when people's lives are not very great, but they'll never admit it. And so that's why they go and they get lost in the alcohol or any other addiction. It's not even just alcohol. It's exercise, it's cocaine, it's cannabis. It's every single thing that alters your mind to where you escape from your current situation. And we have too many drug addicts in our society. And that's why I get attacked, because we have so many drug addicts that don't want to face who they actually are in this world. Because it's very tough to have a mirror showed right in front of your face. It's very tough. So yeah, I was probably born in the wrong era. I probably should have been born back in the 1900s under Woodrow Wilson. And no, I'm not a purist. I'm not like, Miss Holier than Thou. I'm not religious. I was raised Jewish, raised in Silicon Valley, which, all of these schools fed into these major high-level colleges. But all these high-level colleges are a bunch of alcohol. The fraternities and the sororities, and then all the college towns, and in that area, Silicon Valley and San Francisco, alcohol, liquor stores and alcohol on every corner, every single event, every single special occasion, alcohol was always there. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't discriminate against, socioeconomic statuses. It's all everywhere. In the military, it was in the military. It was in, they had liquor stores on the actual base, because since they couldn't go off base if you didn't have a car, so guess what? You just get drunk in your dorm, or you go to a hotel down the street and you go and buy a bunch of alcohol and you just get drunk. That's what goes on in the military, in colleges, and even in these, corporate America. Getting drunk is just part of it all. So it doesn't surprise me that this is very difficult for people to wrap their mind around, because alcohol is ever pervasive. And yeah, you're going to have to stand up for your convictions against this whole, I don't know, this lifestyle, this brain. I wish we could eradicate alcohol. We'd have a better country, a better people, not as many mutations, not as many accidents. But since there are people who are out of control, that's why we have law enforcement. People wonder, oh, well, FTP. Yeah, okay. FTP, yeah, right. You may not be an alcoholic, but do you really want to deal with all the alcoholics, the alkies, and the drug addicts, and the mutated people who don't have a handle on their emotions? Do you really want to deal with them? So there is no FTP in my world. There is no, oh, I'm anti-government. No, there's a reason why they're there, because people are out of control. They try to stop alcohol from being in everything, because they've seen the destruction in the families and in relationships. But humans are creative. And when they're creative, they find ways. And that's when Al Capone and all the mafia came into being, because the government tried to legislate morals. Well, we can't legislate morals, so we have to have a safety net and a force that will counter. So that way you, as a person who is trying to get healthy, doesn't have to deal with the idiots that are out there. Somebody's taking care of that for you. So yeah. So yeah, I'm completely against alcohol, completely against drugs, completely healthy. It's like a whole new world. And my period hasn't happened yet. It's been since October 20th. But I'm sure if I ever drank a lick of alcohol, my period would come back. So, you go figure, why these people get their periods soon and all that. It's probably because the hormones that are in birth control pills, the hormones that are in, the Similac, the powder in the babies, the mothers who are major alcoholics, it's I don't know. But we're coming upon a new era. So, but I got to get some stuff done, so I got to go. But you guys have a great day. I look forward to seeing any new testimonies. All right, bye.